We'll begin with our lead story tonight. President Bola Tinubu's declaration of nationwide security emergency, just as he has ordered the Nigerian police and armed forces to recruit additional personnel to tackle rising insecurity across the country. In a statement issued from the State House, the president directed the police to recruit 20,000 new officers, bringing the total planned intake to 50,000. He also authorized the use of the National Youth Service Corps camps as temporary training facilities for the recruits. Tinubu gave the Department of State Services authority to deploy trained forest guards to flush out terrorists and bandits operating in Nigeria's forests, and ordered the recruitment of more personnel to strengthen the said operations. Nigerian Senate is proposing the death penalty as the maximum punishment for kidnapping, banditry and other terrorist acts. The resolution followed a heated session on Wednesday, during which lawmakers expressed deep concern over Nigeria's escalating insecurity, triggered by deadly attacks on a church in Eruku, Kwara State, and on schools in Kebbi and Niger State. News Center's National Assembly correspondent, Sage Ibrahim, has the story.
The November 18 attack, which showed heavily armed men storming Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, Kwara State, killing 2 worshippers and abducting 38 others, set the tone for the tense debate. While considering a motion on the urgent need to curb insecurity in Kwara, Kebbi and Niger states, lawmakers warned that schools, churches, markets and rural communities have become vulnerable targets for terrorists and bandits.
Intelligence reports revealed the involvement of internal collaborators, often driven by economic and political desperation, who aid criminal groups with information, logistics, and escape routes.
Several lawmakers questioned why kidnapping victims are often released unharmed, while perpetrators remain unarrested. Others raised concerns over the withdrawal of soldiers from the school in Kebbi minutes before the attackers struck.
The governor of Kebbi said that somebody ordered troops out and people were kidnapped. Till today, nobody in Nigeria knows what happened, and no question has been asked. And we are sitting down here as a parliament, and we turn and we talk. Yet, somebody is responsible.
Some of these tactics are becoming increasingly, obviously counterproductive. Perceived or real payment of ransom embolden these bandits to continue in their exploits.
The president, Nigeria is at war, and international conspiracy is involved. So we should all understand that, and we should not trivialize this matter.
Review the Nigerian firearm law. Every man deserves the right to protect and defend his life and that of his family. And bringing a knife to a gunfight can never be a fair fight.
The debate concluded with increased calls by lawmakers for the adoption of the death penalty for kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism.
It is time for this hallowed chamber to put a very strong voice to probably once and for all passing a death penalty on anybody involved or associated with kidnapping.
An amendment to the Act to ensure that the offense of kidnapping becomes a terrorist act, and in addition carries a death sentence without any option of fines of fine, and without any discretion on the part of the judiciary. Those in support say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Senate thereafter approved more than 10 resolutions, including an investigative hearing to determine why troops were withdrawn from Government Girls Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State before the abduction, and to establish the circumstances surrounding the death of Brigadier General Megari Uba with a 2-week deadline for findings. The committees on Army, Defense, Interior, and Police Affairs were given 1 week to brief the Senate on actionable measures to address rising insecurity in the country, while the committees on Air Force and National Security were dissolved over non-performance. The Senate also resolved that its leadership should meet with President Bola Tinubu to formally communicate the Chamber's position and urgent security recommendations. From the National Assembly, Abuja, for News Central, Sagar Ibrahim.
My colleague Sagar Ibrahim was at the National Assembly where he witnessed the rowdy session over insecurity. He is joining in for this conversation. Also is Dr. Awal Aliyu, Deputy National Coordinator, retired members of Nigerian Armed Forces. Sagar, the Senate took several strong positions today, including proposing the death penalty for kidnapping. From your observation inside the chamber, how seriously are lawmakers pushing for this measure to become law?
The submissions of these lawmakers, this conversation, this deliberation, this debate definitely touched a nerve the moment that Kwara South Senator Lola Ashiru raised the motion of urgent national importance. For them, it has become one too many a case of attacks on communities, on senatorial districts of theirs, and of course on their constituents who have continued, to complain and cry out owing to the consistent security breaches in this area. So they took the opportunity to voice out concern, saying enough is enough. And of course, time has come for the Nigerian government and of course security agencies to sit up with the full intention of ensuring that these issues are addressed wholly and holistically. A lot of them raise questions as to the reason why there has been these continuous breaches, in spite of the fact that in some cases Nigerians had the opportunity of foresight, getting information before some of these attacks happen, actionable intelligence, but no actions taken as a result of that. All of this led, of course, to the rising in temper of some of them, rising in the temperament of these lawmakers who, of course, say enough is enough, and of course they want these issues to be tackled and ended once and for all. Felicity.
One major point of contention was the withdrawal of troops from the Kebbi State School just minutes before the attack. You could even see the passion with which the senator was speaking. What more have you gathered about lawmakers' concerns and what the Senate hopes to uncover in its investigation?
For them, it's investigate, and investigate even more. I mean, so like Senator Inaya Baribe had mentioned, the governor of Kebbi State had also, during the course of speaking with the press, revealed that there were cause to believe that information had gotten to the government that the soldiers that were positioned at the government girls secondary school in Maga, Kebbi State were withdrawn just a few minutes before the attack happened. Of course, this in one way or the other means a direct sabotage of the operations of the Nigerian military, the Nigerian armed forces, and the Nigerian government that is taking so much effort to ensure that these areas, these schools are safe. But then again, we see issues like this happen and there is nobody asking questions. This is the reason why they are saying that it has to be investigated. Nigeria and Nigerians cannot continue to see situations, where these attacks happen and then nothing is done about it. But then also is the issue about the rhetoric, about the payment or negotiation, with these individuals, which some of them say will only embolden the bandits and the terrorists to do more in terms of perpetrating their acts and their activities. Hence the reason why quite a number of others mention the need to amend the Terrorism Act, posing a death sentence to those found, culpable for kidnapping, terrorism, and banditry. Others also call for an amendment to the Nigerian Firearms Act to, in one way or the other, permit Nigerian citizens and give them an opportunity to defend themselves. Like in the words of Senator Asuku Ekpeyong, you can't go to a gunfight holding a knife and expect to come out victorious. Felicity.
Well, firearms controversy has been with us for a long time. But thank you, Sagar, for your coverage of today's session. Let's switch now to Dr. Aliyu and just take on what the president said. He has issued nationwide security emergency. Does this have the same interpretation as a state of emergency on security?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, it is the same thing as a state of emergency in security. I want to commend here the President and Commander-in-Chief Bola Tinubu for being very proactive on this security matter. This has indicated clearly that the man is very willing and is ready to ensure that the safety of life and property of Nigerians is guaranteed. He is giving marching orders that additional 20,000 policemen be recruited. That will be 50,000. He has equally given instruction to the state security service to go into the be part of the forest guard and also recruit additional personnel. And you will recall that the Chief of Army Staff last week, when he went to Kaduna, that's Lieutenant General Waidi, also mentioned that the Army will recruit 24,000 personnel. This recruitment and improving on the capacity and manpower needs of the security agencies indicate seriousness in the government to ensure that lives and properties are secured. And like I said again, you recall the president gave marching orders on the Kebbi schoolgirls to the Minister of State Defense, Dr. Bello Motole, to ensure that they are safely returned back to their families. And you can see that the Minister Bello Motole had delivered on the instruction given to him. And also the president gave directives to the Inspector General of Police to withdraw all police officers from VIP protection. And we also saw a circular going around requesting all units to ensure that all men are back to the station. This clearly indicates a serious government, a serious president.
Yeah, but considering the urgency, the seeming urgency of the situation, I mean, we have rising insecurity. We've seen the number of times that there's been breaches, students and travelers, multiple people have been kidnapped. So this recruitment of more men, they will require time to train. They will require time to get into the system. Even those that were removed from VIPs need retraining. So how soon do you expect these additional officers to impact the rising insecurity in this country?
Well, yes, I agree with you, because they cannot just go out there and begin to work without the knowledge of what they are working about, or what the code of conduct of their job says, or even what is the constitutional provision for them to even function. So I agree, yes, they must be trained, and that training naturally is supposed to take like 6 months. But I will recall that during the late General Sani Abacha's administration, he was recruiting soldiers, and they were trained for only 3 months.
6 months. So in the interim, what happens? What are the plans to ensure that there is...
That is where I'm going to. These guys can be also, the training, 6 month training can be reduced, be compacted to take place in 3 months. And it has happened in Nigeria in the past. During the late General Sani Abacha's government, he recruited soldiers. The training was compacted, and they were trained in 3 months instead of 6 months. So the same thing can be done. The training can be compacted, and then they can be trained in 3 months. That is, and you will say that also between now and the next 3 months, even if they are going to be trained for 3 months, what happened in between? Well, here I would say that there's very serious need for synergy, for cooperation between the community and the security agencies. Also, there is a very serious need, to involve not only the community, but also the civilian joint task force, for example, that are voluntarily providing security services and also leading, in most cases, the security agencies, because they belong to community and the communities are working with them. I will equally recommend highly that in this recruitment, some members of the civilian joint task force can be screened properly and be absorbed, into this, and that will give room for the short compartment of the training. That will assist greatly in fighting insurgency. Also, between the Nigerian police and the armed forces, there were some of those guys that were on training, that were on service rather, and had one little problem or the other that could, they could be reconsidered for absorption. Those ones are already trained, though now out of the service, but they can be reconsidered for
we have
absorption,
less than 3 minutes for this conversation.
As a special squad to handle this insecurity that we're facing.
Death penalty. Speak to that quickly. That's the Senate position for perpetrators of kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism. Isn't this coming a little too late in your thinking? Is it appropriate? Why now?
Well, it is better late than never, you know. It is coming late, but it is better late than never. And at least Nigerians are getting proactive. The lawmakers are getting proactive. The government is getting proactive. Nigerians are waking up from their slumber and then opening their eyes wide to ensure that they are safe. So the death penalty, that is the right way to go, because these guys are equally, they are killers too. So a killer, if found, should also be killed. There's just no reason for any option. Like the Senate President said that they shouldn't be given any option. The court also should not be given any option. Whoever is caught kidnapping should be sentenced to death by whatever, either firing squad or hanging or whatever. Yes, I agree with that, because these guys are equally killers. They had no human sympathy when they kidnap. After kidnapping, they ask for ransom. After payment of ransom, at the end of the day, most of the people they kidnapped get killed, and then the parents,
in 1 minute, sir.
Pick dead bodies.
In 1 minute, the president called for a review of laws to allow states to establish state police where necessary, and urged local authorities and religious institutions to improve security measures, but specifically about state police. Do you think that endorsement from the president will expedite action towards establishing state police, or there is still going to be bureaucracy around it?
Left to me, still there is no need for state police. Instead, the different outfits that the government, various state governors has established can as well be reabsorbed into the police. Because if you take a lot of states have vigilante or what have you, or they call them different names, and those ones have been trained. Some even provide weapons for them. So if they have been so trained and the weapons have been provided, all that needed to be done is for the government to absorb all these people into the new Nigerian police structure that they are recruiting 50,000. Absorb them automatically, and that is where you can even give them maybe a 1 month training, because most of them have already got through training, and most of them were trained either by policemen, retired policemen or serving policemen, or retired military men, or retired military serving or retired military men, serving or retired members of the DSS. You can, of course, absorb those ones and give them 1 month training and send them out to continue to do what they have been trained to do by the state. So by so doing, you'll have sufficient members of policemen within the state that are serving under the federal government, but then they are within the state because they were trained as vigilante or group, whatever name you state call them, to handle security matters. Outside Katsina State, for example, you will recall the governor trained some personnel, provided them with
so
weapons.
While you're not in support of state police, you do think that there are options that can be explored. Thank you very much.
This is the options that I'm providing. Also, my problem with state police is I don't think Nigeria is too right for state police, because governors might use these policemen against political opponents.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for now, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, Dr. Aliyu, for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
Coming up tonight, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike warns there won't be further extensions for ground rent defaulters. Details of this after the break. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu declares nationwide security emergency as State Senate engages in heated debate over worsening insecurity. Presidency seeks confirmation of 3 ambassadorial nominees as criticism trail Nigeria's foreign relations. Military claims total control of Guinea-Bissau following tightly contested presidential and legislative elections. Staying on security matters. As discussions enter day 2 for the House of Representatives Special Security Session, the former Deputy Speaker of the House, Idris Wase, has alleged an infiltration of insurgents into the Nigerian military via its recruitment process. He is calling for security sector accountability for all security agencies in the country. A House of Representatives correspondent, Idong Joseph, tells us more.
It's the second legislative day of the special security session as lawmakers picked up from where they left off. Lawmakers began the session with a call for accountability over the rescue of some school children recently kidnapped.
We are seeing the children. Where are the kidnappers? Nigerians are asking. We are seeing the children. Where are the kidnappers? We need to know.
Unlike the first day session, which concentrated on remarks from principal officers, heads of security committees and representatives from the north and southern region, this time, lawmakers took turns to make their submission.
The boogeyman insecurity has visited each and every one of us in this chamber. No one has been spared in the country.
I lost my younger brother, same mother, in Bama. So I know what it means, and I speak with pains. We are appeasing terrorists. We are placating them. They are engaged in negotiation. You can't appease your way out of terrorism, even here in this house.
Zonal caucus leaders also provided updates from their constituencies, including calls from the southeast seeking a presidential pardon for Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, recently convicted.
We are not appealing today. We are demanding today that within the ambits of law of these 60, 90 days, he has not gone to court. For Mr. President to give him a pardon and release Nnamdi Kanu to us.
While lawmakers called for a coordinated national security response, they proposed a shift from words to action and proper vetting of candidates during recruitment into security agencies.
There were moments in time when, in the process of recruitment, Boko Haram were found in the list. Other criminals, armed robbers gangs were found in the list of Nigerian army.
The time for a political approach to insecurity in Nigeria cannot secure and stop the insecurity we face today.
With the session marked by representatives recounting experiences from their constituencies, they urged the leadership of the House to interface with the executive so as to implement resolutions reached. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Thank you, Idong. President Bola Tinubu is seeking confirmation for 3 ambassadorial nominees whose names have been sent to the Senate. This is amid criticisms of lack of proper international representation for Nigeria. It is the first such move since he assumed office in 2023. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the submission at plenary session on Wednesday, naming Kayode Are from Ogun State, Aminu Dalhatu from Jigawa State, and Ayodele Oke as the first candidates. Akpabio noted that it is an initial list, hinting that more names are on the way. Let's tell you now that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has issued a fresh warning to ground rent defaulters, saying that there will be no more extensions of the payment deadline. Wike, while speaking with journalists after inspecting ongoing infrastructure projects in Wuse and Life Camp, added that the 2-week grace period and the presidential extension granted 4 months ago have long elapsed.
Certainly it has to, because I've always said that it's unfortunate that most Nigerians who complain do not want to abide to the rules. You realize that when we started this enforcement, there was a presidential intervention to give them 2 to 3 weeks more. But it's more than 4 months now, and we cannot carry out these projects without people paying their taxes. So we did also make publications of extending and extending and extending. And of course, they like to rush. If you don't go and enforce it, nobody will go and pay. So we believe that this is the last time. We're not going to extend any.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today presented a 4.237 trillion naira budget proposal for the 2026 financial year to the State House of Assembly. Tagged Budget of Shared Prosperity, the governor says the plan focuses on accelerating infrastructure delivery, strengthening health and education, and expanding social protection across the state. The proposal includes 2.55 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure and 2.185 trillion naira for capital projects, with the state projecting 3.993 trillion naira in total revenue and a deficit of 243 billion. Sanwo-Olu also disclosed that the government has implemented 81% of the 2025 budget so far, amounting to 2.86 trillion naira, which he says reflects sustained fiscal discipline and growth. Just a quick correction, the budget was presented yesterday, as we told you. That was just a little slip. We have Olusegun Okunade, a financial expert. He joins now for a review or a breakdown, if you please, of the Lagos 2026 appropriation. Good to have you on the news. How does the budget of shared prosperity address the needs of Lagos residents, particularly in areas like healthcare and education, given the allocations of 338.449 billion and the other respectively?
Thank you very much, Joshua, and good evening to all our viewers across the globe. Just like you said in your prologue, Mr. Governor presented the appropriation bill, the budget for 2026 to the State House of Assembly yesterday to the tune of 4.2 million. And it will be worthy to say that Mr. President and Mr. Governor is looking beyond some of the issues that we have, considering some of the things that state have actually put in place to take care of an area that can be considered as strength, even to the survivor. The budget is referred to as that of shared prosperity, and that is confirmed from some of the things that were actually made deliverable in that area. You discovered that we had more in the area of health, in the area of environment, in the area of education. And that speaks to moving in the area of prosperity, considering the fact that there is considerable collaboration from the meeting that was held on Monday between the Southwest Governor in the area of security. So with that which we have enjoyed in Lagos, I feel the government is looking in the right direction of doing the right thing to create a better and harmonized growth for the citizen of Lagos State.
With the projected deficit of 243 billion naira, how does the state plan to manage its finances and ensure sustainable growth, considering the current economic climate?
Yeah, well, budget is something that you are just giving projection of. We cannot actually depict what will be. And don't forget that from January next year, the new tax reform will actually take shape from January, and that we expect will contribute to the bottom line of the plan by the fiscal policy to use technology in driving the area of tax collection. And not just that alone, looking at the area of making sure that taxes collected are plowed back into the system in making sure that we have development that is expected of them. So this is a budget without a deficit. At least the deficit, when you look at the percentage on ground, I don't think it's up to 10% of what is actually being projected as expenses as the actual budget. And that speaks volume that if you are able to drive more in the area of revenue for the state with the infrastructure that will definitely be provided, that will give a better living for the people of Lagos State, we should be able to close the gap because when there are better welfare for the people and the safety and security is actually guaranteed, then definitely there will be prosperity in the land. So I'm really not too scared about the deficit. One thing is sure and certain, that the government, looking at that which they've been able to drive for the 2025 budget, should be able to move the route of sustaining that and be able to overcome the deficit therein.
All right. The budget proposal highlights infrastructure delivery as a key focus area. What specific infrastructure projects can we expect to see implemented in the coming year, and how will that impact the state's development?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think the government should work in the area of power. I speak to power in the sense that it is germane for every business person that we are. Don't forget that the state electrification board are putting stake in the 2 disco that we have, and we expect government to actually look for way of generating alternative power supply to increase the supply that will give to the people. So that area of infrastructure is key and fundamental. From what Mr. Governor also said, you discover that we are looking the area of road infrastructure. We have worked a little while, but I feel that we can do much more better, not just creating the road, but creating a lasting road that will sustain beyond the year that we're actually talking of. If you're able to work in line of this, I think you do more. And improving on our health facility, our health structure, and building on education, which can give more opening. Don't forget that Lagos State is actually working on mega city that we have. And I'm sure with the technology driven, you can see a lot of this technology being implemented in the area of traffic management, which has been a focus. If we can improve more on this, reducing that wastage of time and improving on the productive time, I think we'll be much more better in it.
I guess we can only be optimistic at this point. Thank you very much, Olusegun, for speaking with us.
It's always a great day to have the evening with you. Thank you for having me.
Outside Nigeria, the military in Guinea-Bissau has announced total takeover of the seat of power and that they are now in charge of the country. The declaration came just 3 days after the nation held its presidential and legislative elections. Earlier in the day, heavy gunfire was heard near the presidential palace as troops in uniform blocked the main access road. The announcement was delivered at military headquarters in Bissau, where officers read a formal statement, according to journalists on the scene. A massive fire tore through several high-rise buildings at One Fork Court Housing Estate in the Tai Po district of Hong Kong on Wednesday, leaving at least 13 people dead and 15 more injured. The fire started around 2:51 p.m. local time and was upgraded to a number 4 alarm, the second highest level, by 3:34 p.m. as flaming bamboo scaffolding on the exterior of the towers quickly spread the blaze across multiple blocks. A spokesperson from the government's Information Services Department confirmed the fatalities and several residents remain unaccounted for as rescue efforts continue.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
The African Development Bank, AFDB, has approved a $500 million loan to Nigeria to support the Economic Governance and Energy Transition Support Program. The initiative aims to strengthen fiscal policies, drive energy sector reforms, and promote climate action. The program focuses on public financial management, energy access, and climate change mitigation. The loan will support Nigeria's energy transition plan, improve sector governance, and attract private investment. The AFDB's intervention is expected to boost Nigeria's economic growth, reduce poverty, and promote sustainable development. The program benefits government ministries, agencies, and bodies responsible for social and economic policies. Nigeria's Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms proposing proposes eliminating 90% of taxes collected by local governments, aiming to support small businesses and boost economic growth. Chairman Taiwo stated that the multiple taxes hinder business development. A constitutional amendment bill before the National Assembly seeks to simplify tax structures, allowing local governments to collect only one tax. This reform aims to improve Nigeria's business environment, attract investment, and promote economic stability. If passed, the change could increase revenue for local governments and benefit businesses nationwide.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
The Nigeria Table Tennis Federation has lodged a formal petition with the International Table Tennis Federation after its players were denied entry visas to compete at the ongoing 2025 World Youth Championships in Romania. The development has sparked concern within Nigeria's table tennis community as the setback threatens the country's participation in one of the sport's most prestigious youth tournaments. In a letter signed by the NWTF President Adesoji Tayo, the Federation condemned the decision, describing it as a violation of the principles of international sportsmanship, inclusivity, and fair participation that IWTF and its partners uphold. Tayo urged the IWTF to urgently intervene to prevent similar occurrences in the future, stressing that the visa refusal has disrupted Nigeria's ambition of grooming another generation of world-class players.
Transported our players all the way from Lagos to Abuja. They stayed in Abuja for 8 days, and the Romanian embassy kept promising that they would get a visa, only for them to wait till the last minute, that is a day to the beginning of the competitions, for them to come up with a flimsy escape.
Nigeria's men's and women's national flag football teams have been placed in tough groups ahead of the 2026 IFAF Flag Football World Championships in Germany. Both teams, who are African champions, will compete at the tournament holding from the 13th of August to the 16th. The tournament will be held in partnership with the NFL at the home of the New England Patriots in Germany, the Düsseldorf Flag Football Complex. Just 16 men and 16 women's teams have qualified through the Continental Championships for an event that is expected to form part of the qualification pathway for Los Angeles Olympics Games in 2028. Nigeria's women's team will face the US, Spain, and Australia in Group B, while the men's team have been drawn against Australia, Japan, and Canada. Flag football's Olympic qualification system is in the final stages of approvals with the International Olympic Committee, with an announcement expected in the coming weeks. Now to cricket. Nigeria's senior men's cricket national team, the Yellow Greens, will begin their title defense against Zambia in the opening match of the 2025 West Africa Trophy in Abuja on Thursday, the 4th of December. The Nigeria Cricket Federation confirmed that the second edition of the regional competition will take place in the nation's capital following the successful maiden edition held in Lagos in 2023. The Yellow Greens dominated the inaugural tournament, finishing unbeaten and securing an exciting 18-run victory over Rwanda in the final at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval in Lagos in October 2023. For the 2025 tournament, Rwanda and Sierra Leone will return to compete once again, while Zambia replaces Ghana and will provide Nigeria's first challenge in the opening fixture. And that's a wrap on Sports Updates. Entertainment is up next with Edawo.
Edawo is here. Hi, Edawo.
How you doing, Felicity?
I'm good.
As usual, to bring you the entertainment bits.
Yes, please.
Let's jump right into it. Now, dispute following an altercation on November 11 after Arimoro claimed he was blocked from leaving the set and was allegedly assaulted. In a rebuttal issued through her lawyers talking about Peggy Ovire, she dismissed his claims as grossly misleading, selective, and materially false. Her legal team stated that Arimoro was only restrained from to prevent him from leaving or fleeing after the incident. They also confirmed that the matter is currently under official investigation by both the police and the Actors Guild of Nigeria, describing Arimoro's compensation request as legally premature and ethically questionable. Ovire has further warned that she may pursue legal action if the alleged false claims continue. What can I say? It's a fanfare of, legal battles here and there. But we'll definitely bring you all the updates on that as it unfolds. Now, all the way out of Africa, Hollywood's franchise Rush Hour 4 is reportedly back on track at Paramount Pictures, following behind-the-scenes lobbying by U.S. President Donald Trump. Yes, reports say the studio has now agreed to move forward with the sequel to, still directed by Brent Ratner, who stepped away from Hollywood after multiple misconduct allegations during the Me Too era, that hashtag Me Too era. Now, the film is expected to reunite stars like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, with funding reportedly secured and distribution planned through Warner Bros. Now, the original Rush Hour trilogy grossed over $850 million worldwide, making it one of the most successful buddy cop franchise in cinema history. Yes, and fans are super excited. They can't wait for this one because Rush Hour 4? Okay, well, that's all we have on entertainment tonight, by the way.
And that's the news tonight. As always, we'll appreciate your feedback. Please share your eyewitness report to the number being displayed now on your screen. You can follow us on social media at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Have a good night rest.